Good morning, Speedboat users. So yesterday we rolled out a new functionality. So you may have noticed if you're on the parcel detail page that you have a new tab up top that says forms. Now it'll be blank right now, or if you're in the settings panel, there's a new tab forms as well. So my goal here today is to kind of show you how to use it and why, kind of show why we built it. And our goal was, kind of give you guys the ability to generate the content from within the system that you could, pre-fill your forms, whether it's like, creating your own affidavits or whatever that may be, just kind of giving you guys that flexibility to kind of generate it from within the system. So let's hop in. So if you come right up here to your name, go the drop down to the settings panel, you'll see that in here we have the forms tab. Right now there's nothing here, but this is where they will all show up. So if you come in, you click add, and we'll kind of start building out a test form just so you guys can see exactly what this functionality kind of entails. So we'll say, let's go test form. This is a test. Next up is the pin. So if this is checked, it'll show up. This form option will show up in every parcel. If it's unchecked, it'll just stay right here in the settings panel. So it won't be usable. So definitely make sure we have that pinned. Then right here, if you click edit, this is what's going to show you your available replacement variables. So this is where you kind of make it a smart form by parcel, so you can fill it with really any data that we have from within the system. So we'll just pull a couple as an example. So we'll say, let's say location. We want, we're going to do county, and we're going to do a state. One thing you'll notice as well, so we're going to, we have these fields in here that duplicate, so it's the same logic that we use on the export. So some fields are going to duplicate within the forms. So I'll kind of run through a quick example on how to use those. So for this one, for example, is going to be fees. It'll show you a little asterisk, and then it'll say, mark fields will have multiple values in the form. So we'll kind of review what the best method is to kind of handle those and where I would see those kind of actually being useful. So I'm gonna add a few here just so we have some, good sample size. Let's do one more. We'll go interest. All right, so when you've selected all your fields, you just click add, and then they'll be here that you can kind of select. So you can do a bunch of different edits from within this form, from formatting to adding pictures to bold, whatever it may be. So it's really just going to be kind of a trial and error of kind of getting it to the formatting that you want and what looks good. So we can kind of show you what that preview looks like here shortly. For purposes of this, we're gonna come in, I'm gonna drag and drop a logo just so we can kind of add a logo to the header of our form. So you can obviously drag and drop your logo, not ours. And then we'll say this parcel is we're just gonna add some values here. We're gonna go city, county, state, just as an example. Then I'm gonna go to the next line, and then so as we when we added it, we noticed that the category, amount, effective date, and interest, these were all duplicating values. So to handle these in this form and to make it not look super bad, I'm gonna do it within a table. So I'm gonna add a table here, and there's 4 fields I'm gonna add, but I want a little padding on each side of the table. So I'm gonna add 6 by 1, right, is the table I'm gonna add. I'm gonna delete this, and then I'm gonna start right here so I can have padding on the side. So I'm gonna go fees category, and you'll notice there's a little bit more to this one, so I'll describe this here shortly. We're gonna go amount, we're gonna click in there, we're gonna go effective date, click in this last one, and we're gonna go interest. Oh, let me check here, let's make sure I clicked. We're gonna go interest. Now to format these, so essentially what it's going to do, if we do nothing else, it's just going to go one after the other. So it's going to look like a long string of text. So what we're going to want to do, you see there's a start fees category, the fees category in brackets, and the end fees. What we want to do is we want to click these right before these double brackets of the end. We're just going to hit enter. So what that's going to do is that's going to start a new line for every fee category that gets added. So we're going to do that same thing for each one of these columns, right? Right before that, the end fees, we're going to click enter. Right before that, we're going to hit enter again. Now what I want is the category to be in bold, and then I want my state, county, and city to be in bold as well. And then we're going to adjust this sizing. So we're going to go size 10, and then I'm going to adjust. Let's see, what else do we want to adjust here? We're going to adjust the line height. So we're just going to go single line height, compress it a little bit more. Now that we've kind of made our adjustments here, we see it's pinned. I'm going to click save. And now I can come in here and I can click preview. And then this will give me a view of what this form is actually going to look like. Now the values haven't been replaced, so we'll go to a real parcel here shortly to kind of show what that actually looks like. But you kind of just make sure the sizing, the font, everything else, the spacing, everything else looks good. So back to here. Now we're going to go over and go to parcel. So I'll go to one of my sample parcels here, and then we'll go back to the forms. And since we pinned it, it's going to show up here as an option. Now you can, if you have a list of forms, you can do the search and kind of refresh. But for this, if you only have a few, you can just come here, click this PDF icon, and it'll populate those data fields, and we'll show you your form. So you can see we replaced the city, county, state, and then this is what it looks like when we did that line break, so that you're essentially building out your own table view, and you can see it iterated through each one of those different fees. So that's an example of what that would look like. You also have the ability, if you come in here and click edit, that little pencil icon, you can actually edit this stuff in line, so without it affecting your template. So you can just come up here and you can say test, or whatever you wanted to change it to. Let's just say we wanted to do this just for purposes, and we'll say save. Then you can see in this little drop down that it'll say, do you want the normal, the normal templated form, or do you want the one that was edited by Chase at 10:57 a.m. on this date? Now, depending on your user permission, you can always delete these. If you don't have that enabled and you need it enabled, I'd say talk to your administrator, and then we can set up those permissions. But now you can click on this PDF on the edited version, and that'll show that it says test. It's kind of updated that field. Yeah, and then you can also delete that, like I said, if you wanted to get rid of it. That's kind of the high level of the forms. By all means, I think definitely be a little bit of a learning curve to make sure this stuff's formatted as expected. But yeah, we definitely look forward to kind of hearing everyone's feedback. So if you have any feedback, works good, doesn't, by all means, please let me know, and we can kind of adjust it accordingly. Hope everyone has a great day, and we'll chat soon.